Hi, Mrs. Turner. My name is Krista Perry, and today I'm going to present to you on the effects of children and teens on consumption. First off, I want you to think of a time when you've been in a store and you've seen some little child crying and screaming and whining because their parents didn't want to get them some product off the shelf that they wanted. Now, possibly in your head you were thinking, wow, that parent really has no control over that child. I mean, that's what most of us would think. But now I want you to think about products that are in your own house, in your kitchen, in your living room, anywhere in your house. Let's think about some, such as maybe Pop-Tarts, the movie The Little Mermaid in your movie collection, or the Tangled gummies that you have in your cabinet. Now, there's a possibility that you were just a child at heart and really wanted some of these products, but there's a stronger possibility that you were influenced to buy these because of what your children wanted and what they said that they liked, possibly while you were at the store, or something that they mentioned that they saw in a commercial. So you bought these. So the real question that I want to answer is, how are companies able to get a hold of kids so easily to influence them, and what are the effects of that on consumption as a whole? Consumption is obviously an important part of our lives because we consume every day. We go to the grocery store most of the time weekly to get new products that we need to survive. So I want to give you a little background first. Back in the 1950s, there was a time known as the baby boom. Before this, children had very little money. They only had money that they would spend possibly on a piece of candy at the store. They would even sometimes save up to buy one big item such as a bicycle. Well, once the baby boom occurred, the amount of children increased by 10%, and with this large increase, there was also an increase in the amount of money that they spent on goods. Companies realized this and they started to take advantage of this. It was important for them because they realized that children now had more money, and the more money they had, the more that they were going to spend. So one major way that was easy for companies to get a hold of children was through commercials. Now, companies realize this because they've been able to show studies that the average children watches 4 hours of TV a day. If you add that up over a year, it's 1,500 hours per year, which is quite a great deal of time, especially for a little child when they're not awake as long of the day as possibly the adults. But within that 1,500 hours a year, the children are able to see between 25,000 and 40,000 commercials. That's a lot, and a lot of those are repeat commercials. I mean, most children know jingles or exactly the next thing that the commercial is going to say and can repeat it for you regularly because they watch them so much. But that's just the average child. When you think about all children, some children watch maybe 5, 6, 7, even 8 hours of TV a day. And that's a great deal of time that they're spending watching TV and watching these commercials, and that companies are able to get a hold of them while they're just sitting in their own home. So that's kind of a really big deal. And this has become a new strategy for companies because they're realizing that they need to focus on the children because the children are the ones that see all the different products while they watch TV. An example of this was a while ago, before larger vehicles were really created. Children complained about cars and how much space they had to move around and, stretch their legs. So companies created the minivan. Well, the minivan was good for a while and children liked the space, but it quickly became uncool for children to ride in. So companies realized that they needed a new hip vehicle, so they created the SUV. This has lasted because children find it to be more cool and don't complain about it as much. So that's just an example to show that yes, the parents wanted the SUV too, but the children really had the influence all along to create the SUV. Well, companies have been focusing so much on advertising towards children that they spend $15 to $17 billion a year on commercials that are focused directly towards children that have nothing to do with the parents, even on products that aren't specifically for children. But this has come to benefit them quite a lot, so I guess it's a good thing. It's been shown that teens spend $160 billion on products that they want, such as movies, video games, food, snacks, anything. And that's just teens. Now, children under the age of 12 have been found to spend $18 billion a year. When you add that up together, that's $178 billion by the youth, not even by the adults. But when you compare that to other things, something more important such as education, we're only spending $6 billion on education. So that $6 billion is a very small amount compared to the $178 billion coming straight out of children's pockets for products that they want that are irrelevant, possibly a toy that they're going to forget that they even have in a year. So it's kind of important to think about that. But that's only coming out of their pockets. Now, when you look at how much money is coming out of parents' pockets by influence by teens, you'll see that it's quite a large number and it's a great deal of consumption. From parents' pockets, they spend $130 to $670 billion a year on products that their children influence them to buy. This could be anything, but it's something that the children specifically stated that they wanted or encouraged their parents to buy at some point. Well, this can have consequences, obviously, because children are focusing on consumption and on TV and things that they see. One major consequence of this is that children are focusing more on brand names now. They don't just want the off-brand cereal. No, they have to have the real thing. They don't want the off-brand toys. You can't give a child a fake Barbie doll now. No, it has to have the Barbie name on the box. This is a problem because we don't want children looking for brand names at such a young age, because consumption is already a problem as an adult, overspending and debt and credit. So it's something bad to start at such a young age. Another problem with it is that countries are realizing that companies are focusing these commercials at children to take advantage of their innocence, kind of. So they've actually banned commercials that are sent directly to influence children, because they've realized and done studies that show that children under 10 don't really know the difference between a commercial and the TV show that they're watching. So they think that their favorite character is using the product also and really enjoys the product, which can be confusing to the child, and they don't really understand the difference. So there are some recommendations, easy things to do that will make this better. First off, take your children outside. Just go play a game with them. Take them away from the regular world of TV where they can see other things that maybe they don't have to buy, that they can just enjoy the outdoors, or they can enjoy other things that they already have. Maybe they don't need a new toy every week. They can enjoy the ones that they've bought already or that you have bought for them. Another recommendation is watch how much money your children are spending. Look at how much money you're giving them for their allowance and see maybe what they're saving compared to what they're spending on silly things that they're not even going to remember having in a year. Because a lot of the toys that children buy, they just end up throwing out or giving away anyways. So keep an eye on what they're spending. So from now on, when you're watching TV and you see a silly ad commercial such as "Tricks are for kids, you silly rabbit," remember that you're the silly rabbit. Thanks for your time.